Hey y'all, today we are going to review exponents and polynomials. So go ahead and find this in your cheat sheet. We're going to talk about the rules of exponents, how we add and subtract polynomials, how we multiply, some special products, and dividing. Okay, so first we did exponents. Okay, so we had a problem like x to the power of 8 times x to the power of 2. So if I can envision 8x's right here and 2x's right here, that means I have a total of x to the 10. So the algebraic way would be for multiplying the exponents with the same bases, we could actually just add the exponents together. Okay? Then we have a power to a power. So for this example, we have x to the 8th raised to the power of 2. So if I have 2 times, I would have a total of 16. So the shortcut would be a power to a power. We actually just multiply our exponents together. So we add, we multiply. Okay. Then for this one, we have x to the 8th over x to the 2nd. So I have 8 on top and 2 on bottom, and I have more on top by 6. So I can actually just subtract to get x to the 6th. Okay, so the shortcut would be to take your exponents and just subtract them. Okay. Then we talked about negative exponents, and negative exponents are just small numbers. So they're unhappy, so we just put them in the denominator. And when we do that, they are now happy exponents. So any negative exponents, we basically just put them in the denominator and make them positive. Okay? Then we have anything to the 0 power, and anything to the 0 power would just be a value of 1, because everything would cross out, and that would just be equivalent to still something, which would be a 1 value. Right, and then finally we can have rational exponents. We really didn't get to that this year, but rational exponents are actually just square roots. So anything to the 1/2 power would be the same thing as the square root of 8. Okay, so technically we would take a root and we would rewrite it as a fraction. Okay, so this one has a exponent of 1, 8 to the 1, and then square roots have technically a 2 on them, but we don't always have to write that. Okay. Then we added and subtracted polynomials. So first we have to identify like terms and add their coefficients. Okay. And then we can subtract a couple different ways. We could rewrite problems as addition. Most people liked this. By adding the opposite. So if we have a problem like 8x squared plus 10, and we're subtracting another math problem, we can just change like distribute the negative basically. So subtracting a negative would be like adding a positive. And then subtracting a 3 would be like adding a -3. Okay. And then you can just combine like terms. These are like terms, and we have a total of 16x squared. And then 10 and -3 would make 7. Right. Then we multiplied polynomials. So each term of the first polynomial is multiplied to each term in the second, and then we would have to combine any like terms if necessary. Okay, we learned, we focused on 2 different ways to do this. So we did a graphic organizer and then just doing like multiplying, like distributing. Okay, so we could do x minus 5 and then doing x plus 3 and then just kind of just doing some multiplication, x times x, x times -5, x times 3, and x times -5. Okay, and then we notice that these are like terms and can be added together. So our final result, our final product would be x squared. 3 minus 5 is -2x, and then -15. Okay. The other way we usually like is just to kind of just distribute a bunch. So we could also do 2x times x, 2x times -7, Okay, we're done with the 2x. Now we're going to distribute the 5. So 5 times x and 5 times negative 7. Okay, then we can combine those like terms. And simplified, we would have 2x squared minus 9x minus 35. Okay. Then we had just some special products that happened. So if we have a plus b and we square them, remember we have to write it out. Okay, so if I write a plus b times a plus b, okay, we would do a times a, which is a squared, a times b, which is ab, and we would do b times a, which means I have 2 of those ab's, and then b times b, which would be b squared. Okay. Again, even if these were regular numbers, my suggestion is to write it out and actually do the multiplication. Okay, so for this one, it would be a minus b times a minus b. Okay. A times a is a squared. A times negative b is negative ab. Negative b times a is negative ab, which means I have a total of 2 of those. So 2 negative ab's, and then negative b times negative b, which is a positive b squared. All right, and then finally, difference of 2 squares. A times a is a squared. A times negative b is negative ab. And b times a is a positive ab, which actually makes that cancel out to nothing. And then b times negative b is negative b squared. Again, my biggest suggestion is to write it out and actually just do some math. Okay, and then the last thing is just making sure we feel comfortable with dividing. Okay, x squared plus 4x divided by x. We would do x squared divided by x, which is x, and then 4x divided by x, which would be 4. Okay, so today you guys are just going to practice some of these questions. I think Mr. DeHart will tell you which question you don't have to do. I think you can skip either 3 or 4. I can't remember off the top of my head. See you guys later.